ready for this?
Okay, are y'all ready for this? We have an ACT test, preparing and reviewing for the ACT test, math section, part 2. And in this lesson, part 2, we're going to do problems 21 through 40. Part 1, we did 1 through 20. And this is the official ACT test, a full-length practice test. We're going over the math. And this is from the ACT test website, which is www.actstudent.org. And this was the 2018 and 2019 practice tests. So this will be a very good review for those students that are planning to take the ACT test anytime soon. I'm going to go over the steps and the problems, and I'm going to provide shortcuts, tips, and strategies, some shortcuts for some of the math problems. And so make sure that you're taking notes. Get a piece of paper, get a pencil, and start working on these. And you can feel free to pause the video and go back over the problems that you need to review. So we'll start with number 1. Actually, we'll start with number 21. Laura plans to paint the 8-foot high rectangular walls of her room before she buys paint, and she needs to know the area of the wall surface to be painted. 2 walls are 10 feet wide, and the other 2 walls are 15 feet wide. So the combined area of the one window and one door in her room is 60 square feet. So we need to subtract 60 square feet because we're not going to paint the window or the door. So what is the area in square feet of the wall surface? We're only looking for the wall surface. So we need the area of those. So we've got 8-foot height, so we're going to have 8, and those are times 10, and there's 2 of those. And there's 2 other walls that are 8 foot high by 15. So 8 by 15, and again there's 2 of those, and we said we're going to subtract what, 60 square feet, because that's the area of the window and the door. So we're going to subtract 60 square feet, and this will give us the area in square feet that she plans to paint. So 8 times 10 is 80, and 80 times 2 is 160. And you are allowed to use a calculator for this if you want. 8 times 15 is 120. 120 times 2 is 240. And I have to subtract 60. And so I notice that 160 minus 60 is 100. So I'm going to add 100 to the 240, and that should be 340. Is there an answer 340? It looks like answer B, and that was the correct answer for number 21. Okay, number 22. The length of a rectangle is 5 inches longer than the width. And so the perimeter is given to be 40. So what is the width? So we're going to call width to be x in this problem. So we're going to have a rectangle, and this is the width, which is what we're looking for, and this is the length, and it's going to be 5 more than the width. And so we know the perimeter is 40, so we need to find x. So well, we know that this is x plus 5. 2 lengths are the same, and this will be x because the 2 widths are the same. So we add up our x's here, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to have 4x plus 5 and 5, that's plus 10, and that's equal to 40. That's the perimeter. That was given to be 40 right there. And so if we subtract 10 on both sides, we're going to have that 4x is equal to 30. 40 minus 10. And then all you need to do is divide by 4. And 30 divided by 4 is 7.5 or 7.5. So that would be answer F for number 22. Okay, the next one, number 23, says 8% of 60 is equal to 1/5 of what number? And 1/5 of what number x? So 1/5 is the same thing as 20%. 1/5 of 100, that's 20%. And I'm changing this 1/5 to a percent. Why? Because I have 8%, so the percents will cancel out. So you could have 8% times 60, and that's equal to 20% times x. And it turns out that the percents will cancel out, and all I have to do is divide by 20 here, and divide by 20 there. And we know that 20 goes into 60 3 times. So we have 8 times 3 is 24. Now that's the easy way of doing it without a calculator. Of course, if you have a calculator, you can just multiply and divide. You can multiply 8% times 60 and divide by 1/5, and that's going to give you x is 24. The answer was C for this problem. Okay, the next problem, number 24. Armin is trying to decide whether to buy a season pass to his college basketball team's 20 home games this season. The cost of an individual ticket is $14. So 20 times 14, he would be paying $280 if he went to all the games and paid 14. The cost of a season's pass is $175. So this would be a better deal if he buys a season pass. The season pass will admit Armin to any home game at no additional cost. So what is the minimum number of home basketball games Armin must attend this season in order for the cost of the season pass to be less than the cost of buying individual tickets for each game? So this 175 has to be less than, if he's paying $14 per ticket, it has to be less than 14 times some number x. Well, we know it can't be 20. It could be 12 or 13. So if we divide this by 14, and 175 divided by 14, that comes out to 12.5. So x has to be more than 12.5. So the number greater than 12.5 would be 13. So 13 would be the answer there. So if he buys 13 tickets at 14, he's going to pay $182. 13 times 14 is 182. And so the 175 would be a better deal. So the answer is J for this problem. Number 25 could be done with a calculator, but actually you could just divide these out here and divide these out here. 4.8 divided by 1.6 is the same thing as 48 divided by 16, which is 3. And then when you have 10 to the negative 7 divided by 10 to the negative 11, you subtract the exponents. A negative 7 minus a minus negative 11 would be 10 to the 4th. And so this problem should be 3.0 times 10 to the 4th, which is answer A. Answer is A. Okay, the next problem, number 26. A circle in the standard coordinate plane has a center at -1, 2, and passes through a point 2, 6. Line segment AB is the diameter of this circle. So what are the coordinates of circle B? So if you have a circle like this, and here's the center, and this point is A, and B is over here, so this is the diameter. So what you have here is you have a point here in a segment, and you're looking for this point. So C winds up being the midpoint. And so I'm going to look at the x values. I'm going to show you a little short way of doing this. So if I look at the x values, the x coordinates here, they are all different, which means I don't have to solve the whole answer. All I have to do is find the x coordinates. So for A, I'm at 2 on a number line right here, and C is at -1 right there, and I'm looking for, this is the midpoint. Okay, so from M to A, this is 3 units. So that means that from B to M, this is going to be also 3 units. So if I'm going to the left, I have to subtract 3 units. So -1 minus 3 is a -4. So this means that the x-coordinate has to be a -4. And if I look at the answer choices, -4 would be that endpoint that we're looking for at B. So the answer has to be H. What if we want to find also the y-coordinate? Well, look at the y's. So you have 2 here, and you have 6 here. So 2 and 6, that's 4 units, right? So from here to here, you're looking at 4 units. So what's 2 minus 4? That would be -2. So we're looking for -2, and it checks out. So the answer has to be H. But if you want a quick and easy way, just look at the x coordinates, and if they're all different, all you need to do is find the x coordinate. The answer was H. For number 27, you're factoring difference of cubes, because 64 is actually 4 cubed. So if you have x cubed minus 4 cubed, and you want to factor that, that would be x minus 4, and then that would be x squared, and then minus becomes a plus in the formula, and then the product of the two, 4 times x, and then you square the last term, -4 squared is 16. And so you notice that there's an x minus 4 here, and that's answer A. That is one of the factors. And the other factor, obviously, is not going to be there. So the answer has to be A for number 27. Okay, number 28. The average of a list of 4 numbers is 90. So that's their average. A new list of 4 numbers has the same first 3 numbers as the original, but the 4th number in the original list is 80. And then that 80 is now replaced on the new list with a 96. So what is the average of this new list of numbers? So think of this as having 4 test grades, and your average is a 90. And then your lowest grade was an 80. One of your tests was an 80. And then you replace it with a 96. What happens to your average? Well, if you go from 80 to 96, that's a total of 16 points added to the sum of the total. But remember, when you average 4 grades, you have to divide by 4. So the net difference would be a total of 4 points. Okay, so if you were at 90 and then you change one test grade from 80 to 96, that increases your average from 90 to 94 because you're going to add 4 points. So the answer here is H, 94.0. Okay, number 29. The number A is located at -2.5 on the number line, as shown here. And one of the following number lines shows a location of A squared. Well, first of all, what is -2.5 squared? So that would be 2.5 times 2.5. That would be a positive 6.25. Negative times negative makes it positive. So this is negative, can't be that, and this is a negative. This is like 2.5 positive. And this one here is going to be A squared, 2.5 squared. It should be this one right here. And so we're going to go with 29 was D. Actually, that's not D. That doesn't look like 6.25. Oh, there's 4 answers on the ACT. Sorry about that. This one here looks like 6.25. This one looks like 5. That doesn't make any sense, does it? So 6.25 is the correct answer. So the answer is E. So on the ACT math test, there's 5 answer choices. And so for this one, the answer has to be E. Okay, number 30 is a pizza problem. Maria ordered a pizza. Who likes pizza? I do. She ate only 2/9 of it and gave the remaining pizza to her 3 brothers. What fraction of the whole pizza will each of Maria's brothers receive if they share equally? Is that even possible? Yes, they have to here. So they're going to apply their math skills. So if she ate 2/9 of it, there is 7/9 of the pizza left. And they're going to divide it by 3. So when you divide by 3, that's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal of 3, which is 1/3. So you're going to have 7. 9 times 3 is 27. So is there an answer looks like that? Yes. And good luck, boys, trying to split the pizza into 7/27ths each. Okay, number 31. The number 1001 is the product of prime numbers 7, 11, and 13. So 7 times 11 times 13 gives you 1001. Okay, and now that we know that, what is the prime factorization of 30,030? Well, 30,000 is exactly 30 times this. 30 in prime factorization would be 2 times 3 times 5. So I'm going to have all of these factors that I already had, and then I'm going to have all of these here. So I'm going to have 2 times 3 times 5, which is 30, times the 7 times 11 times the 13, and that'll give me this number, 30,030. So is there an answer that has 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13? 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and 13. So those are all the prime numbers there in order. Those are the first 6 prime numbers, and maybe you should memorize those. 2, 3, 5, 7 are prime numbers, so is 11 and 13. So the answer for number 31 is E. Okay, so the following information is used to answer questions 32 to 34. So the next 3 questions will refer to this. McKay, an intern with the Parks and Recreation Department, is developing a proposal for a new trapezoidal Springdale Park. And the figure below shows her scale drawing of the proposed park with 3 side lengths, and the radius of the merry-go-round is given in inches. In this drawing, 1 inch represents 1.5 feet, and 1.5 times 12 is 18 inches. Okay, so we have 28, 40, and 16, and we don't know anything about this side over here. So we'll need to refer to this to be able to answer the first question. Okay, so the first question says, what is the area in square inches of the scale drawing of the park? So what is the area of this trapezoid? Well, the area of a trapezoid is going to be the average of the 2 bases times the height. Okay, so I'm going to have 28 plus 40, base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height, which is 16. So if I take 28 plus 40, that's going to be 68. 68 divided by 2 is 34. And then I'm going to have 34 times 16. And if you use your calculator for that, you're going to have 34 times 16. It looks like that's 544, which is answer G. 544. Okay. Let's take a look at the next problem, which is pertaining to the same drawing. This is Mikhail's proposal includes installing a fence on the perimeter of the park. So what is the perimeter in feet of this park? So we know the bases, we know this height, but we don't know this side right here. So what I need to do is draw a little perpendicular right here, and from here to here I've got 28, so this is 28. So if I subtract 40 minus 28, 40 minus 28 is 12. I wrote 40 minus 12. So getting a little ahead of myself. 40 minus 20 is 12. So this part right here is 12. So I have a triangle, and this is 16 right here. So I have a right triangle. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So that means that if I take 12 squared, and 12 squared is 144, 16 squared is 256. If I add those two together, it's 400, and that's this hypotenuse right here. So hypotenuse squared, C squared. So if I take the square root of 400, that means that this side is 20. So now I can find the perimeter if I add those 4 sides. I would add 20 plus 40 plus the 28 plus the 16. And if you want to get your calculator, you can. It's 14, carry 1, so 3, 7, and 3 more. So did you get 104 with your calculator for number 33? No, it's not 104. They want in feet. So we need to go back to this problem. 1 inch represents 1.5 feet, right? So this is 104 inches, and every inch is 1.5 feet per inch. So if I multiply 104 times 1.5, the answer is 156. And so in this problem, 156 was the answer because they want the answer in feet. So if you're not careful with the units, this is an easy one to miss. So you need to pay attention. They want feet or inches. So on the ACT test, they will trick you that way sometimes. These are in inches, and they want the answer in feet. So, and it was given up here at the top that you have 1.5 feet is equal to 1 inch. Okay. Okay, so number 34, the length of the south side of the park is what percent of the length of the north side? Well, 40 out of 28 times 100 to change to a percent. And this is going to give you 142 and point something percent. So 142 and 6/7 was the correct answer. That's the answer for number 34. Okay, so this next problem, you have some information to answer questions 35 to 37. And it says the Smith family is planning to build a 3-room cabin which consists of 2 bedrooms and 1 living room, as shown below. And you have also a side view of the cabin, which is the right figure. And in this side view, the roof forms an isosceles triangle. And it says the walls are perpendicular to the level floor, and so on. So it looks like you have a walkway here shaded in gray. So let's take a look at the first question that they have here. And question number 35, it says here that Mr. Smith plans to build a 3-foot wide walkway around the outside of the cabin as shown in the floor plan. So what will be the area in square feet of the surface of the parkway? Okay, so this is 30 and this is 24. So if you take off 3 here and 3 here, it leaves you 24. And this is 36. And if you take off 3 here and 3 here, it leaves you 30. So the walkway is going to be the outside rectangle, which looks like that would be 36 by 30, minus the inside rectangle, which looks like that would be 30 by 24. And it looks like we could actually factor out a 30 here on both of those. Take out this 30 and that 30, and you're left with 36 times 36 minus what? 24, which is 12. 12 times 30 is 360. Now you can use a calculator if you like, but the answer here should be C for number 35, which is 360. Okay, number 36. Mrs. Smith will install a ceiling fan in each room. Remember there were 3 rooms, so ceiling fan times 3. And place curtains over the 4 windows. Each of the ceiling fan is $52, so we're going to need 3 of those. And that's going to be $156. And the price of each small window is $39.50, and the price of each large window is twice that. So the small window is $39.50, and if you double that, I believe that's $79 for the large windows. So we need to look at the diagram and see how many windows, large and small, are in this diagram. Okay, so it looks to me like there's going to be 1 large window here, a small window there, and a small window there, and over here you got another small window. So there's 3 small windows and 1 large window that we're going to have to pay for, or Mrs. Smith is going to have to pay for. I'm not paying for it. Where is it, Mrs. Smith? Okay, so the large window was said it was $79, so 79 times 1 of those. That's going to be $79. And then we had $39.50 for the small windows, and there was 3 of those. So $39.50 times 3, using your calculator, is going to be $118.50. And if you add those together, you take a little calculator, handy dandy calculator, and you get $353.50. Is there an answer that is closest to that? Well, this rounds up to $354. So we need to go with answer J. Answer J was the correct answer. $354 is how much Mrs. Smith is going to pay for 3 ceiling fans and 4 windows. Okay, number 37, we're still visiting with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who are planning to roof the cabin on 2 consecutive days. Now, remember that in this problem earlier stated that there was a 20% chance of rain. 20% is 1/5, okay? And so, assuming that the chance of rain is independent of the day, what is the probability that it will rain both days? So the first day, the probability that it rains is 1 out of 5. And the second day, the chance that it rains there is 1 out of 5. And so when you multiply those two, because this is probably that it rains on both days, it'd be 1 out of 25. And 1 out of 25 as a decimal, I mean, you could take your calculator and take 1 divided by 25, you're going to get 0.04. It's a 4% chance. And so the answer here should be A for problem number 37 with the Smiths. Problem number 38. Which of the following expressions, when evaluated, equals to an irrational number? So anytime you have an irrational number, it's going to be a number something like the square root of 2 or square root of 3 or pi. Those are numbers that are irrational, cannot be written as whole numbers or fractions. 2 over 8 is 1/4, so this is square root of 1/4, which is just 1/2. That's a rational number. 8 divided by 2 is 4, square root of 4 is 2. That's a rational number. Square root of 8 squared is just 8. Square roots cancel. And 2 times 8 is 16, so this is square root of 16, which is 4. All of these are rational numbers. They're whole numbers or fractions. They're rational. This one must be irrational. We cannot, square root of 2 is irrational, and this is 2 square root of 2. That's irrational. So if you have square root of 2, square root of 8 can be simplified as 2 square root of 2. That would be 3 square root of 2, and the square root of 2 is a problem. This is irrational. And so the answer has to be K for number 38. Okay, problem number 39. A line through the origin and 10,4, the point 10,4, is shown in the standard coordinate plane below, and the acute angle between the line and the positive x-axis measures theta right here. And so we want to know what is the value of the tangent of theta. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little right triangle here. And so this distance here is 10 units, 10 units to the right. And this distance here is 4 units, 4 units up. And so the tangent is the opposite over adjacent. So the tangent of an angle is always opposite over the adjacent. And also, the tangent, I think you should note that whenever you're looking for the tangent of something like this, the tangent is the same thing as the slope of the line, which would be rise over run. Either way, this is the opposite, and this is the adjacent. So you're looking at 4 over 10. And the slope, if you look at rise over the run, that's also 4 over 10. So in this case, tangent and slope are synonymous. And 4/10 reduces to 2/5. So the answer has to be D for problem number 39. So we're on problem number 40. And this will be the last one for this section. And the rest of the test will be in part 3, which will be 41 through 60. So we have an absolute value equation given, and it has 2 solutions. So there's 2 solutions here. Those solutions are equal to the solutions of which of the following. So you don't have to solve all of this. All you have to know is if you subtract 3 on both sides, you're going to have 2x minus 8, absolute value, 5 minus 3 is 2, so this is equal to 2. Now inside this absolute value could be positive or negative, so you could have 2x minus 8 is equal to positive 2, or you could have the negative of that, 2x minus 8 is equal to positive 2. And so looking at the answers, the answer has to be K. So you have a negative 2x minus 8 equals 2, and then a positive 2x minus 8 equals 2. So in this case, the answer is K for number 40. Well, that's the end of this video. We'll stop right here. If you like these videos, make sure you hit the like button and make sure that you subscribe to this channel to see more of these.